Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. It is time for the monthly market walk. Yes, I'm a couple days late. Bear with me. Got a lot to do nowadays, but we are going to walk through a whole bunch of products on TCG Player for about an hour, talk about the prices, talk about the madness of the market currently, and just talk about it. Yeah. So, Zendikar Rising set boxes, one of the worst victims of print to oblivion during the COVID era. Still $120. The market depth is not helping. Man, there is a lot of this still out there. I promise you guys, the day that this breaks $200, you all can come to my card store and we will celebrate with rum and Coke floats. Next up, Kaldheim set boxes. Same era, but these have actually moved up, closing in on 170. That's really nice. I put some of these up on the monthly sales list for my patrons recently, and wow, look at that. It's just these parabolic moves recently. What were these at? 154 at the market price, and now 162. Okay, it's a lot less parabolic than the shape of the line looks. Strixhaven, 175. Man, we could have never guessed this back in 2021 and 22. There was so long you could buy these in the 80s and 90s delivered to your door back in that era of hopelessness. And again, you see these big moves upwards. Of course, 2 months ago, this was 124 at the market, and today the lowest ask is 175. So, wow, 66% increase in that time. And whoa, $200? My goodness. Yeah, so genuinely, guys, some of these are a surprise to me because I go through and I just click open a whole bunch of tabs before I start recording this video. And so I don't actually go through and look at the specific prices. I just I write it and I do it live. So $200, that is amazing. What are we looking at? About 6 weeks ago, 170 at the market. Wow. Wow, so this has made it. Golly, $200. One day, the print to oblivion of the COVID era will come to an end. I don't know, probably those Zendikar Rising set and draft boxes will be the last survivors, but if you can think of something that was more printed to oblivion of that era, put it down below. A couple of the draft boxes are interesting to follow. This is one of them, Double Masters 2022. So we're a little over $330 now. That's a weird shape. So what's it look like on the 6 month? Okay, so it spiked up about 3 months ago and then it's consolidated for the 3 months after that. Okay, pretty good. Maybe we'll see a move on that in the near future. The problem being that the DM22 collector boxes, oof, yeah, printed to oblivion. Sorry to say it again, but in that time period, and they were the original 4 booster pack collector boxes. It was a wonderful set, but printing was too high, the price was too high, and it just hurt the product. And so there's still so many of those DM22 collector boxes out there in the world that it's just going to keep a little bit of downward pressure on the draft boxes. So I expect to keep seeing it for a while. It's nice to see it making some moves. It is a 3-year-old product, but golly, it's got a high hill to climb. AFR draft boxes 151. Looks like these, well, the vertical scale here is pretty small. It's only $6. So it makes it look like something dramatic has happened over the last 3 months, but really no. It's been sideways for that time. Yep, another leg up 3 months ago and consolidated for 3 months after. Time Spiral Remastered. Are you guys ready for another sealed sale of this? Like, honestly, if you're a patron and you'd be interested to get some more of this, I might be able to get an even better deal than normal, uh, for reasons. But maybe we could do this again. I think this was a wonderful set. I think WotC just royally bumbled the execution of the release and distribution. And man, it was just the confluence of factors back then in what, April or May of 2021 when it released. Just a confluence of factors that hurt this so badly. But 285, that's nice to see. Let's go back a year. A year ago we were at 218. So yeah, 285 now. Good to see that. And market depth, oof, 106 left in the market and only 17 moved in the last month. Yeah, it's painful. Painful, guys. And double feature, the last draft box I'll talk about, I think. because I like to hit all these weird ones. This is another one where I love this product. I thought it was cool and different, and everyone disagreed with me. That's fine. I can be wrong. $175. Pretty good movement over the last 3 months, going up 20 bucks in the last 3 months. We'll take it for a product like this. But here's the problem, 93 in the market and 12 sold in the last month. So just a very, very, very slow mover. Maybe in October. Oh, maybe in October I'll run a sealed sale on this. I'll see how good of a price I can get. Okay. We could maybe do it to celebrate. It's a horror themed box. We'll do it in October. Get it? Get it? Oh, Dominaria Remastered. I don't want to say Printed to Oblivion. Golly, cards in it are so good. And I feel like eventually the collector boxes of this will continue moving upwards like they've been doing, and it'll drag the draft boxes up. The problem these draft boxes have is they came nearly at the end, not quite. They were 1 year from the end of the set box era, and throughout the set box era, WotC was intentionally making draft boxes worse and worse and worse, and set boxes better and better and better because they wanted you to stop buying draft boxes. And so we get to this point, even with a remastered set that did not have set boxes, you still had such a poor engineering of the rarities and the essentially the distribution of rarities in the box. Now, the distribution of mechanical cards in this expansion was wonderful. The Tutors and Force of Will and uh, Sylvan Library and so many other great ones, but just the distribution of rarities suffered because it was a draft box made in the era it was made in, and it's just going to take time for the collector boxes to pull these up. But 173, not terrible. What's it done in the last year? We might have to go back that far to see some real movement. A year ago, 116 at the market. So, yeah, that's respectable. It's up 50% in the last year. We'll take it. Bloomborough, this looked like, did it finally get some reprints? Because I'm seeing, 114 here and $5 shipping. Yeah, yeah. We got a couple of boxes available here. Yeah, just barely. Okay. Maybe it doesn't really look like it got a reprint. The price has been coming down. This may be the TCG expansion life cycle. I was hoping this would just get a monstrous reprint and finally crush the market on these boxes because the price of these boxes has just been elevated. I'll say it's not too high, but it's been elevated for quite a while. I guess a couple of boxes coming to market at a little more reasonable price. Probably not indicative of a big reprint hitting, but man, it needs one. Spider-Man play boxes, 190 bucks. I am working on a deal to get a good price on these for my patrons coming into release. So I'll let you know if it materializes. So I'll say that. And there's not a lot to be gleaned from market depth on a pre-release of a product. 700 boxes sold in the last month actually doesn't feel like much, but again, this is a end of September product. We are only in the first week of August, and so we basically have 6 7 more weeks until we're going to see this come out. So there's time for it to go much more insane. I guess there's also a little bit of time for the market to start to turn, but boy, it would have to get on that very quickly at this point for that to make an impact on this. Final Fantasy, 240 bucks. I hope WotC has a plan to crush the market on this because being a standard product, this is way too expensive. These were pre-selling at some points in the 160s. Was it 160s? Oh boy, all the way down to 150s. Yeah. So, man, these being this expensive and the demand for them being this high, WotC needs to crush this because everybody would like to sell more boxes at a lower price than fewer boxes to upset customers at a higher price. Wilds of Eldraine closing in on $700. Yes, I have a few more of these. I think I did a sealed sale at right around 500 a few months ago and closing in on 700 now. I have a few more that I kept back. We'll probably put them up on the monthly sales list at some point here, but man, let's go back a month and a half. They were 581, and now we're looking at $700. So 120 in that time period. That's about a 20% move or so in the last month and a half. And this is one of those that is Not exactly parabolic, but pretty close to it. Only 14 left in the market, 22 sold in the last month. This is one where there is genuine buying pressure on a shrinking inventory. Dragon Storm Tark here, 333. And nice, it's been mostly sideways for 3 months. That's good to see. That means the TCG expansion life cycle is pulling down, the market hysteria is pulling up, and it's approximately sideways. We will take it for a fairly recent collector box. It's good to see that it's remaining reasonably priced for the people who want it. You know, $330 for a standard collector box several months after release, that feels okay. That would feel like a good balance between a rationally functioning market and WotC delivering something that really is collectible. That would feel right. So I like this price. 330 bucks and 197 in the market, 145 sold in the last month, but there are a lot of these still existing in the world to come out and replenish it. I would not expect $500 on this box by the end of the year. I would not expect it. Now, 530 Phyrexia. This was a January 2023 product, and looks like it took a round trip here in the last 3 months. And over the last 6 months, we've gone from 345 up $200 nearly. And what is our depth? Pretty good depth still. Okay, 32 boxes. What's our monthly sales rate? 34. It's going to get dicey, and maybe these will start spiking up. We'll have to see how it goes. This one surprised me because it made some big moves over the last 18 months, and then it just kind of slowed down those moves. It was kind of interesting. Murders. This is one I called out the other day. Now, I suspect, let's see if we go look. Yeah, you're 225 right here. In fact, you're 225 right there. Why is this guy coming in and saying, I'll just undercut by 10 bucks? Okay, I guess. You don't have to do that. $225, and you see the parabolic move this has made in the last couple of weeks. This one, of course, had been all the way down at, no, wait, wrong direction. Let's go back. 182 on the 1 year timeline, 135 on the lowest sold price in that time period. So, yes, it has recovered. It is back above wholesale price, one of the few losers of the current third generation collector boxes, and it is back in the positive territory with this recent parabolic move. So 83 in the market and 178 sold in the last month. The hype is real, guys. Not all of these are just blind hysteria and FOMO. Some of these really have real market forces supporting the price movements. $460 on foundations, and we had peaked up here at 488 market. We're at 436 market, and so then we started to move back up with the lowest ask above that. Depth is 80, and the 1 month sales through is 94. So yeah, another one where it's looking beneficial. By the end of the year, maybe we could get so lucky as to see 600 on this. Outlaws. This is one that kind of blindsided me. I saw it several days ago and realized, my goodness, it's making some moves, and you see them over the last 3 months. 3 months ago at 215, and today 280 in the market, and 270. What are we looking at? 275 lowest ask. So really making some serious moves over the last 3 months. And again, 70 boxes in the market. And in the last month, it sold 76. So there is real buying pressure on these. Moving on, Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Okay, did I call it a $550 box in the last video? Okay, it's 500. But what is going on? So it's 495 at market price, the current ask, and did we have some of these sales? 538. Yeah, so we had a 539, a 550. Okay, so that's where my recollection is coming from. It's actually made some sales 2 weeks ago at 550. That's what I'm remembering. And then it's pulled back a little bit. I guess there's a couple of these sellers really undercutting the market hard by about $30, trying to get in there and move some boxes. They probably have very, very good basis prices from all of the Amazon dumps that were done on this in the 200s. Hopefully, you guys got in on those. So, 24 left in the market, 16 sold in the last month. And Bloomborough, $738. How surprising is this going to be if it's $1,000 box at the end of this year? $738. This came out like 15 months ago. It's not that old. But look, in the last month and a half, it's gone from 475 market to 730 lowest ask. Golly. Golly. And what do we look like on depth? 26 in the market, 58 sold in the last month. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable, guys. The quantities are running out on a lot of these products, and it feels so weird because we went for so many years where collector boxes would come out and immediately crash below wholesale. All of, well, most of 21, all of 22, most of 23, we were seeing that. Collector boxes just, it was a whole different world back then. And then Watsy finally figured out the engineering of the boxes, and then they finally cut the print runs, the market recovered, everything finally turned around, and now we've got a 15-month-old standard box that's $738. Aether Drift, 200 and what's this, 28, 228? Nice. So that spent some time in the dumps. Let's see, a bottom down here, 165 on the lowest sale price there in that week. So yeah, 165, and it's recovered back up to close to 230. Very, very nice. And you see another big move just in the last week. So more and more and more of these. Now, 300 boxes in the market. So yeah, there is inventory for a while on these. Uh, oof. Maybe you could start slowly laying into this, but I would not go and immediately deploy tons of capital into it. Unfinity, this is wow, wow, yeah. So is it yeah, bringing Shocklands back into standard definitely stimulated these boxes. And boy, don't we love that curve. From 221 up to 333 market price in just a couple of weeks. You can expect it to give back a bit of that. So we'll have to see where this lands. And after you have these kind of price moves, the whole market is suffering from the price memory of it being cheaper and has trouble adjusting to that higher price. And so the sales just drop off. And that's why we often see the prices coming back down. You can see the low volume, sparse volume in here after the price had spiked up. So it'll be interesting to see what this settles at in the coming months. It'll be a few more months, but as soon as we get Edge of Eternities play boxes reprinted enough to crush their price back to the low 100s, I think these will drop off also. Spider-Man, $870, probably too cheap at this price. Probably too cheap. And wow, still 7 more weeks to release. And how many boxes have sold so far? A little over 1,000. Yep. Uh, it would not shock me to see this be $1,000 box on release day. Make good choices, guys. Call time. $245. 245. My goodness. My goodness. Maybe the worst collector box ever made. And here we go in the last 2 months, shot up from 196 market to 245 at the lowest ask. This is it, guys. This is printed to oblivion, comes to an end eventually. The boxes dry up. They get old enough, they become collector items unto themselves, even if their engineering stinks, even if the singles inside of them are not worth as much. And this kind of stuff is inevitable. It's all just a matter of how long it takes to get there. And boy, this has had a long, long road. This was the January 2021 release. So 80 boxes in the market and only 30 moved in the last month. But man, starting to actually make some price movements along with it. Innistrad Remastered. Now, this is one where if you were bearish on this, if you were bearish coming into the release in January, if you were bearish because, hey, it's Innistrad, and the last time Watsy went to Innistrad, it was a disaster. If you're bearish because, I don't know, you don't like remastered sets for some reason or whatever, or you thought that only having a single serialized card and it being Edgar Markov was not strong enough, If there was any reason you were bearish on this product, it has bottomed and it has turned upwards. And if you had any doubt, it is the time to get in on this product. Now, I got in way below this. I want to say I bought most of my boxes in the 220s, something like that. There were some Amazon dumps on this. I think the Amazon dumps might have been at 240 or 244, something like that. They stopped after a little while. They were not dumped nearly as long and hard as some products are. Yeah, here we had some actual sales back here at 220 at the lowest here in July. Let's go further back. 230s. Yeah, around 230s it bottomed out. So, guys, I don't think it's going to get a lot cheaper than this. Again, this is the kind of thing where even if we hit an absolute economic meltdown and a bear market all up and down the board, this is still going to be supported by the fact that print runs had been slashed and that it's an 8-month-old product now. The boxes are getting more and more scarce over time, and it has spent its time in the doldrums and it's coming back up. So there's no reason to continue to be bearish on this. 226 in the market, 118 sold in the last month. So 2 months of supply sitting in the market right now, which in regular times we would look at that and we'd say, ooh, that's pretty thin. Nowadays, it's just like, oh, if it's more than 10 days of supply in the market, man, that's a ton. Kamigawa, did you notice this made moves? I just saw this like 2 days ago. This is one I don't check very often. Because to me, it's not that exciting. I think this was the January 2022 release. And so it's just not an exciting thing for me. It doesn't have like some personal history. So I don't check its price very often. And then I saw it a couple days ago that it had spiked up. But there you go. A month and a half ago, 281, and today 364 at the lowest ask. So 80 bucks in the last month and a half. Another one that just maybe flew under your radar and surprised you. A little over a little over 2 months of supply in the market right now. Core 21, 366. I think I might have missed my chance to give you guys a sealed sale on this. I'll look and see what I can still get a hold of. Maybe we can have a sealed sale on this. 366. Interesting price action. Golly, that's some thin volume. So in the last 3 months, oh yeah, it's just yeah, you can't sell 50 boxes in the last month and only have sold 23 in the last 3 months. So this is TCG player bugging out over something. So 50 boxes in the last month for this product is pretty strong, especially with only 20 left in the market. You know what? I'm going to see if I can get you guys a sealed sale on this. We'll see. I'll try. Edge of Eternity is, of course, the newest release, holding $400. That's very good. Very, very good. It means it's probably not going to be melting down anytime soon. It'll probably be able to hang on definitely above 350 in the long term. So that looks really good for its future. And yeah, the sell-through numbers are not really relevant given that this came out about 10 days ago now. Not a lot to learn except that the price is not melting down yet. Ah, Dominaria remastered. How I love thee. I was able to get some more of these boxes. So we will continue to have sales on this intermittently through time. And a month and a half ago, 261. So 50 bucks. Yeah. 20% movement upwards in the last month and a half. That's pretty good. 44 in the market and moved 36 in the last month. There will still be a lot of these out there. This was the last collector box before the third generation of collector boxes started with Phyrexia in January of 2023, and the print runs were slashed. This was the last one that had too high of a print run. That's why it's doing so poorly. That's why it's been so quickly eclipsed by Ravnica Remastered, and it's about to be overtaken by Innistrad Remastered. So keep that in mind that there are still a lot of boxes of this because the original print run was so high. March of the Machine, $430. Again, parabolic moves. In the last month and a half, it was $300 at the market, and now it's $430. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's what, 35%, something like that. 25 left in the market, 73 sold in the last month. I made an attempt to get a big bunch of these for a sealed sale, and there was just a miscommunication, and it fell through. And it's so sad because it was such a good deal, and it was enough boxes that with what I already had, I could have made a healthy sealed sale out of it. So we'll have to see. I'll have to go back and look at what I have. I might have enough boxes that I could do something like a limit one sealed sale and take $50 off the market price or something like that. So we'll have to see in the future, but man, it's disappointing because I really tried to get another big stack of these and the deal was wonderful, but it was literally a innocent miscommunication between parties and it fell through. No one's fault, truly an accident. Strixhaven, man, I would have liked to have seen this move higher. 360 is good. I'll take it. I love the product. I think this is a wonderful box. The Mystical Archives, oh, they were just magnificent. 360 feels a little bad, but again, this was in the era of first half of 2021 when the print runs were still really high. So 17 left in the market though. That is interesting. And 33 sold in the last month. So that actually is exciting. That is a bit exciting. Hopefully we see some good movement on this. I think over all the years, I've only been able to put something like 6 of these boxes back in the closet. I got a couple from a patron that I bought out recently. He was looking to sell part of his collection, and I was able to pick up a couple of these, but I think I only have about 6. And finally, for this time around, for this month's market walk, 23.50 for Lord of the Rings Special Edition. I sold one of these to a patron a couple of days ago. I'm putting a couple of things like that up on the monthly sales list, looking to raise cash for opening the store here in the coming months. And thankfully, I had a very kind patron who wanted to buy one. And so he got it at a very much better price than this. And I got to write down a whole big lot of profit off of it and get some cash for the store. So thank you for that. And what are we looking at? The last 3 months from 1700 to 23.50 at the market. So $700 increase in the last 3 months. Very, very nice. So the market continues to be insane. I did not put any Pokemon boxes up here. Basically, there's virtually no relief in the Sword and Shield, sorry, in the Scarlet and Violet era boxes. There's really no relief from print runs. Uh, Deaths and Rivals booster boxes are up over $300. Everything else is at the very best marching up slowly. Things like not Vivid Voltage, Surging Sparks. Yeah. Surging Sparks, it's up into like the 240s, 250s now after getting all the way back down into the 220s. Twilight Masquerade has gotten back up to the 270s. So there just is no relief yet. The plus side of that is it stretches the market out even further. It makes everything more unpleasant for the collectors, for the people trying to enjoy opening the cards, getting them in their hands, and it pushes more of those people away, which will inevitably turn the market over and put us into a bear market at some point. But we are still not there yet. Who knows when we could get there? So stay with me, guys. It's been great, and the market's on fire, and we're just going to have to live through it. I have some alternative ideas. I'm going to be sharing those on Patreon here in the coming days. I'm already working on a post for it. I may turn that into the monthly newsletter, but I'm also already started writing the monthly newsletter. Maybe I'll save up some ideas. I'd rather just push the ideas out there though, because most of them are time sensitive. So look for a post, patrons, in the next coming days of something else that I'm about to buy more of that I think is a good alternative right now. So I'll leave it at that. Besides that, let me know what you think, guys. And look for the PayPal link down below to buy a trucker hat. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.